Thank you, Ms. Lowe, and welcome to Michigan International Speedway as we get ready for Sprint Cup Series qualifying presented by DraftKings. Ended up being a gorgeous afternoon in the Irish Hills. Drivers getting ready to take on the 2-mile, very fast racetrack, the fastest one that we visit. We'll see how fast each will be today. And who will win the pole? That's to be determined. Hello, everyone. Alongside Steve Letarte and Jeff Burton, I'm Rick Allen. The big story, obviously, in 4 weeks, we're back to a racetrack where we have a new and high drag package that takes place here at Michigan. What exactly does that mean for qualifying today?
Well, so what we have is we have the high drag package that we ran in Indianapolis. What does that mean to the race cars? That means the race cars have these big, tall 9-inch spoilers with a 1-inch wicker bill across the back. They have tail extensions, extending the tail closer to the ground. They also have a wider front radiator pan. What that all means for qualifying is that they expect that these cars to want to be in a draft. So we're going to go back to single car qualifying, not group qualifying. So we're going to have 2 rounds. The first round is going to set the field from 44 cars down to 43. It's also going to set the top 12 fastest who'll get their times thrown out. They'll have to go and do it again in round 2, Jeff.
That's right. And so this package is all built around creating high drag. So the trailing car can catch the car in front while on the straightaway. But in single car, they just have higher drag. There is no help because there is no other car on the racetrack. So what that means is very, very fast corner speeds. They're going much slower down the straight, but to go fast, you're going to have to run almost wide open. We saw earlier in practice today, Carl Edwards ran wide open all the way around the racetrack. You don't do that in a cup car, but you have to do it now. So the guy that sits on the pole, he's going to have to be willing to stay wide open in the gas. The question is, who can and who can't? Because the guys that can't will not have any shot sitting on the pole.
And it's got to be a good handling car if you want to try going wide open all the way around Michigan International Speedway. Who will try it? We'll find out. Round 1 coming up next. Get news, results, and highlights delivered to your inbox. Subscribe to the free official NASCAR newsletter at NASCAR.com/newsletter. And before the drivers climb into their cars, let's see if we can chat with a few. We'll go to Marty Snyder.
Well, Rick, one of the big stories in practice today was the fact that Aric Almirola was not able to be in his 43 car for much of practice because he was sick. So I'm doing the interview over here. How you feeling?
I feel a little bit better. After practice, I went and got a 2-hour nap. I was up all night, just really sick. So I haven't felt very good since about 6 o'clock last evening. And I was up all night till early this morning. So I've gotten some IVs fluid, and that's helped me get rehydrated. And I've gotten a nap, and I feel a little bit better now. But I didn't sleep all night, and it was not a good night. It was not pretty. So hopefully it's just a 24-hour bug, and I'll be a lot better by tomorrow.
Obviously, he will qualify the car. He did tell me things are going in the right direction. And, Rick, I'm going to go watch my microphone now just to make sure that we're okay after that interview. But the good news is Aric Almirola feeling much better, and we'll be fine for tomorrow.
And it's a little bit different. Before in qualifying, all of the drivers had to get into their cars immediately because everyone took off at the same time because the green flag flew and everyone was able to go on the track. Well, now it's back to single car qualifying, so the guys that are a little bit further back, they're going to take their time before they climb behind the wheel of their car. First one out onto the track will be the 62. We're going to go from slowest to fastest. That's Reed Sorensen. Reed stopping before he gets off of pit road, but Reed is going to have to end up in the top 36. If he does not end up in the top 36, he will not make the race Sunday.
Yeah, and I think it's one more unique aspect that I think makes it even more entertaining when you watch this qualifying is the fact that this order, as you mentioned, Rick, is from slowest to fastest in first practice. And everyone ran qualifying runs in first practice. So that means we would assume that as we go through the field, they would continue to better the lap time of the person before him. But it doesn't always work that way, Jeff. So you kind of know if you go and you run and you're not beating the people that have already run, it's going to be a little disappointing when you get to the final 43 cars.
No question. One of the big things here is cloud cover. You see a cloud come over, it's going to make the racetrack go faster. And look what Reed Sorensen has. Turn 1 is completely shaded because a cloud has come over. So he got a good draw because of this cloud. You can see the racetrack, how cloudy it is. As he comes off turn 2, he'll lose some of that. But in my opinion, getting into turn 1 is probably the most important part of this racetrack, and maybe that will help him just a little bit.
39.95 is what Reed turned in practice earlier. 36th was Cole Witt. He turned a 38.357 second lap. I would assume that Reed is shooting for at least that number if he thinks that he is going to be able to break into the top 36.
Yeah, this is one of those racetracks we see an awful lot where you pick up, a fair amount of speed from practice to qualifying. So we really won't know how much you need to pick up until we have several cars go.
It was an improvement over his practice lap. He goes 38.631 for Reed Sorensen. We'll see if that holds up and gets him into the top 36. Kelly.
Rick, I'm with a guy who knows a thing or two about scoring pole position. Joey Logano's already got 4 this season. That's more than anyone. You had a pretty good weekend last week in New Watkins Glen. You got your first road course win, then your second road course win. Seems like as we go to all these different types of track, this team's been able to carry its momentum. How have you guys been getting it done?
It feels nice to be able to go to any type of racetrack and say that you can win at it now. It's something that our team's very proud of. But really all of Team Penske's been working really hard, and all these different packages that NASCAR's thrown at us here and be able to adapt to them as quick as Team Penske has. I'm very proud of that. We'll see what happens here in qualifying. It's such an interesting qualifying session because for the most part, you're going to be pretty close to wide open all the way around, if not pretty easy wide open. So it kind of depends on how they set up their cars and whether they've trimmed them out or have downforce built into them. It's kind of like Indy cars out here, so it's just a little bit different.
And these guys are also keeping a close eye on the sky. Some of those clouds that come over, good thick clouds, nice cloud cover and shade at times.
It's Timmy Hill on the track. Timmy not able to go as fast as Reed Sorensen. He went 39.335.
We saw Timmy ran really low all the way around the racetrack. He was right on the white line in the corners. We saw it bottoming out a lot. There were sparks coming out from underneath the car, so I think they had the car just a little bit too low.
J.J. Yaley only went out for 11 laps in the first practice today. It was a 2.5-hour practice, so they had plenty of time to get out there. They just didn't turn as many laps as quite a few of the other drivers, but he had the actual slowest lap. They were last to, or supposed to be first to start. They had the slowest time of the day, but they weren't able to get fired up as quickly as NASCAR wanted them to, so they got a little bit of a break to come back out on the track. We'll see if he's able to turn a better lap in this qualifying run. In his one lap, J.J. Yaley is quicker, 38.145 for Yaley. So that bumps Reed Sorensen down a spot. And again, we go from slowest to fastest, so each car out should be just a bit quicker than the last. Welcome back to Sprint Cup Series qualifying from Michigan International Speedway. Travis Kvapil just coming off the racetrack. He was third quickest until Josh Wise just crossed the start-finish line. And that 32 jumped just in front of Travis Kvapil. Now Josh Wise is third quickest, but Reed Sorensen still second quick. J.J. Yaley has the fastest time in this qualifying session.
Listen, why are we making a big deal about Reed Sorensen being second quick? Because he's here trying to start this race. He's trying to make the field. One car is not going to make it. And where the 62 is in points, Jeff, he has to be 36 quick. So basically, it's simple math. He has to beat 7 cars. He's currently beat 3. So, that shows a little hope maybe for the 62. They get a couple more cars, get a little lucky. This lap will hold up. They'll be in the race on Sunday.
And if he gets in the top 36, then it puts Jeb Burton as the next car that would have to get into the top 36 or he would go home. So all these guys are watching what Reed Sorensen's time was and how they're going to stack up to him.
Landon Castle looks to be faster, and he is 37.885, 0.3 of a second faster than what J.J. Yaley had run. So Landon Castle out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. A good lap for the 40 car. Landon in practice earlier was 38.447. He improved upon that lap by 0.6 of a second in his qualifying run, as we see Brett Moffitt now on track.
Well, Brett's one of those drivers we saw last year at MWR. He got in those cars and did a really good job. He's won a lot of K&N races. We think about the back of this field as drivers that you don't hear so much of, but all these guys have won races. They're track champions. They're guys that have won races in different divisions. These are good drivers that are back in these cars toward the back of the field.
Brett Moffitt won numerous races in the K&N Pro Series East. And Brett Moffitt third quickest in this qualifying run. That puts Reed Sorensen down to 4th. Jeb Burton just coming off the track after his qualifying run, and it was an impressive one. He is fastest at Michigan at 37.753. Now Cole Witt in the 35. Cole Witt is 3rd quickest at a 38.077. Jeb Burton picked up 0.6 of a second over what he was able to run in his practice runs earlier.
And that locked him in the race. He's unless he had a problem in tech or something, Jeb Burton is locked in the race. Reed Sorensen has only beaten 3 cars, so it's not looking good for him right now.
Matt DiBenedetto, you see him in the red, just a bit slower than what Jeb Burton has run. You also see the miles per hour, carrying 186 miles per hour through the center of the turn. Such a fast racetrack here at Michigan.
I mean, that's quite remarkable. I mean, it's one thing to run, 195 to 200 miles an hour down the straightaway. I'm not saying I'd be comfortable doing that, but I can assure you I wouldn't be comfortable with 186 in the middle of the corner. There's no doubt in my mind I'd have a problem with that. I mean, that's man, that is fast for corner speeds.
DiBenedetto goes 3rd quick. So it's Jeb Burton, Landon Castle, and Matt DiBenedetto, the top 3, moving Reed Sorensen down to 7th. And David Gilliland rolling around the apron here at Michigan International Speedway after his qualifying run. He goes 5th quickest. We'll see if that holds up to the top 5 as Alex Bowman crossing the start-finish line. And he's just in front of Gilliland. He goes 4th quickest. So David Gilliland drops down to 6th. Alex Bowman is 4th now with that run. Just over 38 seconds. Jeb Burton, very impressive lap for Jeb at 37.753. We see a couple cars have gone since Jeb was out on the track, and they haven't come within 0.3 of a second of what Jeb was able to do. Michael Annett now on the clock. Michael, another one of the Midwest drivers out of Des Moines, Iowa. Definitely in the green for Michael Annett. We'll see if he can hang on to this. A very impressive lap. Does he go to the top of the chart? No, 9th quick. He's comparing it to Travis Kvapil now, that 12th spot. If you can make it into the top 12, you advance to round 2. So Michael Annett also just a tick faster than Reed Sorensen. As we continue to mention Reed Sorensen, Reed had to qualify in the top 36 if he wants to make the race on Sunday. And as we continue to have more cars go, Reed Sorensen has only been faster than 3 cars. More than likely, Reed Sorensen won't make the race on Sunday.
17 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Easily he's going to put up a decent lap time, but he doesn't want to be going this early. This is a car that they thought would have more speed in practice, but going this early means that he struggled. He was 31st in practice. He'd run a 38 flat in practice, so it'll be interesting to see if he can get down to the 37s, if he can eclipse Jeb Burton's 37.75. It looks like he's going to be pretty decent.
Quite a bit of time on 12th, which was Kvapil. Stenhouse Jr. to the top of the chart. 37.581 for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Qualifying continuing here on NBCSN. Justin Allgaier coming off the track. He was a bit quicker than what he ran in practice earlier today. He goes over 191 miles an hour for his average speed around this 2-mile track. Justin Allgaier is the 2nd quickest of those to qualify. Now in the car, and he hasn't spent a lot of time in the car, is Eric Almirola. And Eric Almirola is going to be 4th quickest. Eric Almirola earlier today, and as we heard in the interview with Marty last night, under the weather, thinks he might have the flu bug. So he was not able to be in the car for most of the practice earlier today, which Matt Crafton filled in and subbed for him. And we've got Casey Mears on the clock.
Ramirez has his cloud cover all the way through 1 and 2. Oh, he's out of the gas a lot. He had to really get out of the gas. That's the problem with trying to run wide open. If you don't make it, it's ugly.
And you just heard him.
Oh, yeah. When you go in the corner, you lift. Listen to him. In that corner, he was able to learn about what happened in turn 1, and he didn't do it in turn 3. But when you have to go through the corner wide open, and your car pushes or your car gets loose, it is a very ugly lap because you don't have time to catch it. When you're in a normal corner, you drive in the corner, you lift a little bit, you get back in the throttle. When you feel the car tell you that it wants to go back wide open. In this case, you're wide open and the car tells you I can't do it, and your only response is to get out of the throttle. So it's a huge penalty to be paid when you try to run wide open and you can't do it.
And Clint Bowyer will now be on the clock. Clint, another one of the bubble drivers as far as the chase grid. Did not sound like he got out of the gas at all through 1 and 2.
He did. It definitely wasn't much. And you see he's tracking to run in the low 37-second bracket right now. So he's looking to track maybe about a 37:30 or 37:20, which would easily be our fastest time of qualifying, which would be a big improvement from practice. He had run a 37:68 in practice. This right here, a 37:17.
Very impressive run for Clint Bowyer, finding some speed here in qualifying, wanting to advance into that top 12. And welcome back to Michigan as Sprint Cup Series qualifying continues. This is round 1, trying to determine the top 12 who will advance into round 2 and potentially win the pole. More than likely, it's not going to be Kyle Larson. He was 9th quickest on his run, and we have quite a few drivers still to go. So we see Paul Menard crossing the start-finish line, just a bit slower than Clint Bowyer, 37.379 for Paul Menard. Clint Bowyer put up a pretty good lap at 37.176. We saw Kyle Larson on the apron. When he came by, didn't sound as good as we would have expected Kyle Larson, especially at this racetrack where he has had success. Danica Patrick now on the clock. At the bottom right of your screen, you see how she's tracking as compared to 12th. The cut line to advance into round 2. 197, 198 miles an hour. She enters turn 3.
Danica entered really high, trying to make a sweeping entry to get into the corner, which I think is probably the right thing to do. Try to make the straight as long as you can.
And a little bit quicker. She goes to second quick. Kelly.
With Clint Bowyer, who's still the man to beat. Clint had a little bit of cloud cover, but hard to tell. Were you able to keep it wide open?
Well, to be honest with you, we changed something there. We just didn't have the speed with our other package that we had under our car for qualifying. Trim, race trim and practice I thought was really good. But our 5-hour energy Toyota wasn't very good, and in qualifying trim, we kind of leaned on the 55 guys that had quite a bit more speed than us. So that was kind of cold turkey for me. A little bit gingerly with it, probably gave up some. There's definitely some faster cars that go out by design in this deal, and you know I know that won't hold up, but it's a lot better than we were in practice.
Right, teamwork paying off, Rick.
Absolutely, and that's I'm guessing what Roush Fenway Racing would also hope for is some type of teamwork that would find some speed for all 3 of their drivers. You see Biffle didn't seem as strong through the turn, but looking good compared to 12th. Greg Biffle, second fastest time turn, still behind Clint Bowyer, but ahead of Danica Patrick, Paul Menard, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. So Biffle about 0.2 of a second faster than his teammate, Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
And remember, the goal here is to make the top 12, because that moves you into the last round with a shot to sit on the pole. But if you don't make the top 12, it's much better to start 14th and 22nd. So don't forget that all these guys that don't transfer into the top 12, they're still setting their track position. They're determining where they pick pits. So it's more than just top 12. Hey, that's what we want. It's also we want to qualify the best possible way we can. So Clint Bowyer may not make the top 12, or he may, but by improving his car for qualifying, he improved his starting spot, which also improves his ability to pick a good pit stall. So qualifying is not just about the top 12, it's also everybody else.
Penske Brad Keselowski, Miller Genuine Draft, celebrating 25 years and also celebrating the birthday of Rusty Wallace. 59 years old today. Brad Keselowski goes to second on the chart, still behind Clint Bowyer. Trevor Bayne falls in between his teammates. Greg Biffle was third quick. Trevor Bayne sixth quick. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. seventh quickest. And now Ryan Newman on the clock, and he'll be in the top 12. He is third quickest of the 25 that have been on the track. There are 44 here. Again, they're going out based upon their first practice speeds. The slowest cars go first all the way to the fastest, which was Carl Edwards earlier today. He will be the last car that will go out to complete a lap in this first round. Marty.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. watching some cars go around the track. Junior in practice, what did we learn about this package here at Michigan?
Well, we showed up. We was a little bit off. We had to work on our race stuff a lot, and we finally got it good enough to where we could put it in qualifying trim and ran okay. The balance is pretty good, so we'll go out there and see if we can hold it wide open.
All right, and that's the key. Every driver we're talking to down here, Rick, is saying, I think I can hold it wide open, and they're all going to at least try, which makes it a very interesting qualifying session.
Absolutely. Can you hold it wide open all the way around the track? And that will probably be the pole winner if you're able to do it. Jamie McMurray, he is fourth quickest. 37.277. The fastest lap turn today in that practice was 36.726. A very fast lap by Carl Edwards. Martin Truex Jr. now on the clock.
And that lap from Clint Bowyer, who's currently P1, man, it's really a decent lap because as we've documented, these cars go out from slowest to fastest in practice. Well, since he's put that lap up, 8 more cars have gone. That's 8 cars that were better than him in practice and haven't been able to outrun him here in qualifying. So for every car that doesn't beat Clint Bowyer, that's like a net gain of 1. That's 1 more position that you might not have thought you were going to have when qualifying started. But the changes they made to the 15 car are really paying off.
And we'll see where Martin Truex Jr. falls in the list of drivers that have already gone. He is 6th quickest on that list, putting Jeff Burton now on the bubble. A.J. Allmendinger proving that Clint Bowyer has put together a very impressive lap. A.J. Allmendinger was 10th quickest on his qualifying run. Once again, it's single car, 1 lap qualifying. We'll have 2 rounds. The top 12 will advance to the second round. Find out who will win the pole. Jimmy Johnson, he goes to the top of the charts, just over 37 seconds at 37.083.
Oh yeah, that cut line's getting ready to move there, Rick. These cars that are coming up, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Ryan Blaney, all ran in the 37-30 range. We've seen a lot of pickup from these guys. I expect all these guys to flirt with the 36-second bracket.
Jeff Gordon on the clock now. We'll see if he can outdo his teammate, Jimmy Johnson, who just posted the fastest lap. Of the top 4, even 5, who has the possibility of staying in the top 12?
Well, I think that the cut line in right now is Bowyer or Keselowski. I think outside of them, Newman, McMurray on down, it's going to be hard for them to stay in the top 12. But as I say that, Jeff Gordon here it looks like he's going to end up in the top 12, but he's only going to end up about 7th or 8th.
That, guys. Good job.
And he's happy with his lap. I think he's going to be disappointed when he hears the lap time.
7th for Jeff Gordon.
And that, in a nutshell, is why this type of qualifying is so hard. The driver just said, can't get any better than that. He was expecting to hear P1.
It's wide open. How the hell do you make it any better?
There you go. So the driver's wide open. That's why it's so hard because, hey, I did everything I could do.
Right.
But how the car is trimmed out. Is it really out of the air like it needs to be? All those kind of things. You might can make this car drive great, but it's not generating speed down the straightaway because it's making so much drag. So all the driver knows is, hey, I was wide open in the gas, and it didn't go fast. So that's what makes this unique.
Yeah, the pole sitter has a pretty good chance to be wide open and not like it. And that means that his car was right on that edge of grip. carrying as much straightaway speed as possible, but still rolling through the corners.
Ryan Blaney behind the wheel of the famed 21.
That right
Brothers.
there is why I never said it was good or bad till I got the time.
You're a wise driver.
And Blaney goes 6th quickest at a 37.281. Now everyone's chasing Jimmy Johnson. Sam Hornish Jr. rolling around the apron after his qualifying run, 4th quickest. Brad Keselowski, the only Ford that's faster than Sam. Jimmy Johnson in a Chevrolet. Clint Boyer in a Toyota. And Brad Keselowski in a Ford. The top 3. Kurt Busch goes 5th quickest. He continues to move that cut line down. Now it's Danica Patrick that's on the bubble. Marty.
Rick, let's chat with Carl Edwards. I was talking to Driver a moment ago. He said you need to be fully trimmed out. You're going to need a cloud, and you're going to have to leave it wide open all the way around the track. Do you think you need all those 3 to win the pole?
I think you have to. The tough part is if you screw that up, once you've committed and you've gone in there like that, if you screw it up, you've got to check up so big that I'm just going to kind of wait and see what everybody runs, and then I'll know what I have to run. We got a really fast car. This Aris Toyota is screaming fast, so just want to make sure I don't screw it up trying too hard. We should be on the pole if I do everything right.
He should be on the pole if he does everything right. Remember, last time we had this high drag package, Carl Edwards on the pole at Indianapolis. They're going to try and make it back-to-back poles, Rick.
Pretty impressive, the confidence there out of Carl Edwards. He's put it in his own lap, saying, if I do everything right, I should win the pole. So we see Joey Logano go to the top of the charts now, 37 flat, 37.011.
And Rick, it is so close for the cut line. Sam Hornish Jr. in 5th position ran a 37.21. Martin Truex in the 12th position ran a 37.32. That's just over a 1/10 of a second. It's the difference between Sam Hornish feeling like he has a chance to make the top 12 and Martin Truex Jr. feeling that he's probably going to be bumped out.
See, Matt Kenseth, he entered turn 1 about a 1/10 ahead of where he needed to be. That's all about coming off of turn 4 on you coming to get up to speed lap. So he was able to carry a lot of speed through 3 and off of 4. By the time he got into 1, he had well over a 1/10 of what he needed. It's so important when it's this tight to do everything correctly.
Matt Kenseth.
This is going to be an impressive lap.
Yeah,
right?
half
This
a
could be
second
well
faster.
into the 36s.
Half a second faster than Truex Jr. 36.737. A very impressive lap for Matt Kenseth.
P13724. I'll talk to you when you get here.
I'll talk to you when we get here. That means don't talk over the radio. We don't want everybody to hear what you have to say. That's what that means. So here comes Dale Jr. And guess what just happened on the racetrack? Look at all those clouds. Whole front straightaway, all through 1 and 2. All that's clouded. A lot of shade. The track cools down. That makes a huge difference in this racetrack.
See if it helps the 88s get into the top 12. Tracking in the green.
See over 200 miles an hour perhaps. No, 199 miles an hour into turn 3. The impressive thing, though, Jeff, is look at how fast he gets through the middle of the corner. 189 miles an hour is 188 off the corner.
Carrying so much speed as he comes back down to the start-finish line. 4th quickest for Dale Earnhardt Jr. And now we go down to Kelly Stavast.
Jamie McMurray currently 10th. Did you get the lap you were looking for in the 1 car?
Yeah, I thought our Sesame Don Chevy was really good there. I haven't listened to anyone else's interviews, but I assume that everybody says their car felt really good. I was flat out in 1 and 2, and then just barely had a little breather in 3 and 4. I don't know that it really cost me any time. So I'm assuming that some of the guys that are quicker maybe just have their cars trimmed out a little more. I thought Matt and Josh did a really good job of getting our balance right, but just maybe don't have the straightaway speed that we need.
All right, a little bit of a breather there. Maybe that's the difference, Rick.
Possibility is, a little bit of a breather.
And straightaway speed doesn't mean that the engine's not running. It just, like he talked about, cars being trimmed out. If you're making a little less drag at this big racetrack, that's where the speed, that's where the straight speed is generated.
David Reagan, 6th quickest. Right behind his teammate, Clint Boyer.
You heard Boyer say they leaned on their teammate to get some information. They put their setup in the car. Well, Boyer ran a 1.76 and Reagan ran a 37.184. So that's pretty close.
Sounds like they gave him all the information. That's always good when that's a lot of confidence for a crew chief when you can go lean on your teammate and it works. So many times, Jeff, you hear that it doesn't work, that the cars drive the same. But if what these drivers are all saying that their cars drive good, they're just wide open, it comes down to the details of your downforce versus drag, it would make sense if they're both wide open that they should run reasonably close to the same speed.
8/1000th of a second separating those two teammates over 2 miles. So we see Kyle Busch tracking in the green, well into the green, 0.3 of a second better than that of Ryan Blaney. Down to the apron he goes, shortening up the racetrack, and second quickest for Kyle Busch, just behind his teammate Matt Kenseth.
Good job.
And again, Kenseth, from starting at Kenseth, the clouds came over the racetrack. Now almost the entire racetrack is clouded except for just the entry to turn 3. So not only did we have the fastest cars going later by rule, we also have the track in its best condition. So these guys should continue to go faster.
And with only 6 cars left to go, the top 6 know they're going to be locked into the top 12. They mathematically can't be eliminated at this point. So now it really comes down to David Reagan, Brad Keselowski, Sam Hornish. Are those guys going to make it through?
Jamie McMurray on the bubble now. And you see, once again, tracking in the green, Kasey Kahne. Kasey Kahne has to have a good finish. Potentially a win if he wants to make it into the chase with only 4 races remaining, and now he's on the outside of the top 16 as we close in on the chase for the Sprint Cup. A little over 1/10 of a second faster than that of McMurray, and Kasey Kahne 5th quickest.
That'll guarantee Kasey Kahne to move to round 2.
As you said, they need to win a race, and the best way to win a race, step number 1, have a good practice on Friday, then qualify well. So they've done everything they needed to do on Friday.
As they will make it into round 2. We see Denny Hamlin now already in the green, entering turn 1. Sparks flying a bit on the right side.
It seems odd to me as we look at this rundown, Rick. It seems like the teammates, or some of the teammates, are clumped together. You have 2 Joe Gibbs cars 1st and 2nd. You have Hendrick cars 4th, 5th, and 6th. You have Michael Waltrip Racing cars 7th and 8th. You know, it's almost like when you get to a position where you are wide open around the racetrack, it's equaling out all the teammates. Whatever notes they're sharing seems to be translating from team to team. Denny Hamlin jumps right up with his teammates. That puts Joe Gibbs 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
And they continue the momentum that they have had over the past 6 weeks. So Denny Hamlin, 3rd quickest. Now Kurt Busch is on the cut line. Top 12 will advance into round 2.
I think Stewart's got a real shot at this pole today. He all day long, they worked on qualifying more than anybody else. They were very consistent. They were fast, but they also ran this really close to the same time almost every time out. So now the track is cloudy and it's covered over and cooled down. I think that could play into favor for Tony Stewart.
He will have to get approximately 0.4 of a second faster than Kurt Busch if he wants to have the fastest time, at least in this round, which all of the times will be reset when we go into the second round.
The top 12, all the top 12 times will be reset. So he's easily here at 0.3 ahead. He's going to jump up close to the top 3 or 4. He's going to have a great opportunity to move forward in the next round. He knows he's moved forward. Now it's all about that next run, making sure that's the best one.
3 drivers remain still to qualify. Tony Stewart goes 4th quickest. Still to go, Austin Dillon, Kevin Harvick, and Carl Edwards. Here comes Austin to take the green flag on his qualifying lap. He showed quite a bit of speed in practice earlier today. Richard Childress Racing. Austin has stepped the game up. They have really been impressive over the past few weeks.
And no question, they've had a big improvement in their qualifying. They've had a big improvement in the way they've raced. They haven't always got the finishes, but they've run much better over the last 3 or 4 weeks.
And how about Sam Hornish on the cut line? Sam Hornish to even have the opportunity to move into the top 12. I'm not going to diminish the lap he's run, but they've really been looking for speed most of the year, so he doesn't look like he's going to move through the top 12. But this 9 team, Jeff, needs to look at this as a positive, not a negative. This is the most competitive we've seen that car run most of the year.
No question.
And Sam Hornish Jr. drops out of the top 12 now as Brad Keselowski will be on the cut line. Austin Dillon was 5th quickest in this first round.
And look who Hornish has beat. Kurt Busch, Ryan Newman, Jamie McMurray, Blaney, who qualifies well, Jeff Gordon, Truex. He's beaten good cars, so that is a positive without a doubt.
Kevin Harvick's been fast and good at every racetrack this year.
Now there's only one question left, Rick. There's 2 cars to go. Kevin Harvick and Carl Edwards. Are they going to bump David Ragan and Brad Keselowski out of the top 12? Because even as impressive as Harvick's lap might be, it's not going to matter. If it's in the top 12, that's good enough. You can kind of erase that lap, and you have to go do it again.
And just because he's wide open doesn't mean it's easy. Look at the wheel input. Look how much he's having to work on corner entry and through the middle of the corner. So wide open doesn't mean it's easy to drive.
I think the hardest part would be keeping your foot on the accelerator wide open as you have to turn. We see Kevin Harvick goes 5th quickest now, moves Brad Keselowski out of the top 12.
Good job.
David Ragan now on the bubble with 1 car to go, and we heard a confident Carl Edwards earlier saying, if I do what I should be able to do, I should win the pole. And already his teammates are 1, 2, and 3. We heard Carl say, I'll do whatever I have to do in this first round to advance into the second. Already a great lap, almost 0.2 of a second better than David Ragan.
Big wiggle right there. He saw the wheel go back to the right to catch the car. Still continue to make speed, though.
It didn't slow him down, that's for sure. This is going to be a heck of a lap.
Crosses the start-finish line. 2nd quickest for Carl Edwards. He will advance to round 2. Joe Gibbs Racing. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'd say this package suits Joe Gibbs Racing.
Well,
Hey, listen, I don't make light of that.
At a lot of racetracks.
I don't make light of that because even when you have an advantage, you know, when I was at Hendrick Motorsports for these years, there were racetracks we would come to and we'd have an advantage. You still have to execute to not just have a car on the pole, but to have all 4 cars, 1 through 4. That's top to bottom through the organization to not just have speed, Jeff, but execution once they get to the racetrack.
And nobody gives you an advantage. You go earn the advantage. The rules are the same for everyone. The teams that look at the rules, find the best way to work within the rules, that's the team that has the advantage. This rule, although they're doing better at it, it's because they're smarter than everybody else. They're taking advantage of the rules and using it to their advantage.
Happy organization. Joe Gibbs Racing, top 4 in qualifying. Round number 1 will advance to round 2 and find out who will be fastest at Michigan. Mob Steel premieres Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern on NBC-SN, where classic cars become modern street machines as Mob Steel works to rebuild Detroit, one classic car at a time. Mob Steel premieres Sunday at 6 after NASCAR on NBC-SN. Take a look at 13 through 43. These are the starting positions for Sunday's race.
Man, I feel bad for David Ragan. He helped his team out in 15 car out. They made the top 12. David Ragan was very close, though, in 13.
And again, we mentioned Sam Hornish did a great job in 15. Trevor Bayne in 25th. Stenhouse in 27th. So not the run the Roush was looking for. Jeb Burton in 29th. That's a good run.
Kyle Larson's going to have to be disappointed with a 34th place effort.
You see Reed Sorensen, since he was not in the top 36, he will not qualify for Sunday's race. Marty.
Matt Kenseth and Kyle Busch chatting it out after that qualifying session. And what kind of statement is this, Matt, with Joe Gibbs Racing 1, 2, 3, 4? I know it's just round 1, though.
Yeah, it's just round 1, but the cars have been really fast. I was really proud of my Dollar General guys for that lap. We were definitely behind our teammates a good bunch in practice. So we all got really fortunate, too. We all got a huge cloud right before I went. That certainly helped all of our speed. So hopefully we're still smiling after the second round.
And that guy, Carl Edwards, gave you some grief. He said, geez, Matt, I had to lose to you on the first round.
I was just keeping him honest. And like I said, it's only the first round. It's kind of, it's more than practice because we're all in the top 12, which is really great. But hopefully we can all get through this next lap cleanly and try to get ready for Sunday when it's really important.
One round to go, but the JGR car is clearly very strong there in round 1, Kelly.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin, 4th quick in round 1. Looks like you're going to have to beat your teammates if you're going to grab the pole here today. How do you do it in round 2?
Well, anytime you have, what we have this weekend where you're able to run wide open, it just becomes an organization-type race where, it's we're luckily driving some really fast race cars that JGR and that whole team back in Huntersville put together. So we'll see what our FedEx Freight Camry's got. We're going to hold it down again and see if we can get a little bit more speed out of it.
Any idea how these high drag packages are going to play out when we come to race time?
Don't know yet. You definitely are not going to want to be right behind somebody in the corners, but we'll see how the draft plays out on the straightaways. So see how it goes.
All right, thank you, Denny. Rick?
Kelly, did you know that only 3 times in Cup history has a team started 1, 2, 3, 4? Joe Gibbs Racing has a chance to make that 4. NASCAR racing this weekend live on NBCSN on Sunday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. It's Sprint Cup Series racing from right here at Michigan. And tomorrow at 3 Eastern, Xfinity Series, the Nationwide Children's Hospital 200 at Mid-Ohio. Take a look at the top 12 that will advance to round 2. Matt Kenseth will be the last car to go out in this qualifying round. They will go from slowest to fastest once again, so Clint Boyer will be first out, but he's guaranteed a top 12 starting position. Kelly.
And right in the middle of that pack, you see the name Austin Dillon. Austin, it seems like there's been a noticeable difference in this 3 car as of late. Qualifying better, certainly running better in the race. Maybe the results aren't always there, but what's been the difference with this team as of late?
We've just been really working hard. Slugger's done a good job since he's come in, and we're just looking forward to what's to come. We want to start finishing races, like you're saying. We've had speed during the race. We've had good qualifying speed, but now we got to go ahead and get these finishes that we need to be having. So just proud of the Dow team. We've got another good car. I think we were the only one on stickers right there, so hopefully that shows up right here on our scuff run, our second lap.
Yeah, you've had poles here in both the Truck and Xfinity Series. I was going to ask you, what more can you do in this round to give yourself a chance to do it in Cup?
Don't lift. I think you just got to tell yourself, no security lift, just go get it.
That's the theme of the day. Do not lift, Rick.
Yeah, and who can do it? That's the big question. Who will be able to run wide open all the way around here?
I think all 12 of them are going to run wide open. I think it gets to this point, it's more of...
And it's cloudy. That's helping.
It's going to be what kind of trim they have in their car. How much? What kind? We've talked about this all day, Jeff. Compromise. Downforce versus drag. You can't really change the shape of the body, but you can change the height at which the back of the car is going through the corner. And that is what these guys are going against right now. Unless one of these guys outside the top 5 or 6 had a bobble and did get out of the throttle, it's going to be hard for them to eclipse the Joe Gibbs cars because they seem to all run wide open and all had good speed.
And I like Austin's phrase, security lift. The security lift is, I'm just going to lift just to make sure the car will make the corner. You can't afford a security lift. You just got to trust it.
Not if you want to win the pole, and not if you want to beat Joe Gibbs Racing here in the second round, which is coming up next. Can Matt Kenseth duplicate the lap he just ran, or will it be fast enough? We're about to find out. Never miss a race. Visit NASCAR.com/calendar. Download the official 2015 season schedule. Get pre-race reminders. Find out all your local broadcast information. Clint Boyer will be first to take on the 2-mile Michigan International Speedway. Of the 12 that have advanced to round 2, will Clint Boyer be able to hold it wide open? I think that fist pump means yes. I think he's going to do it.
He's psyching himself up in there. He's grabbing the wheel. I mean, he's getting mentally prepared to see if this thing's going to stick as good as he hopes it does when he rolls off into turn 1, foot flat on the floor.
And right on cue, the clouds go away. The sun's out. So, and trust me, he's seeing that. You're watching that as a race car driver. You're wanting to see that cloud.
One of the things that we saw...
Tug on the wheel a little bit just to make sure that thing's on there tight.
We saw in practice earlier, guys continued to get faster as they went back out on the track. So cycling through these tires, another cycle on these tires might end up finding more speed for these guys.
I wouldn't be shocked.
His left hand, he's moving the track bar already.
Yep.
He was making a track bar adjustment already in the run. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, but you're right.
I saw on the wheel, too.
I would expect all these guys. It wouldn't shock me if all these guys go faster. Just a reminder, on the left side of the screen, those are the top 12 cars that we have in the order that they're going to go out. Clint Boyer is just the first car on the track. As a lap time appears next to their name, we'll reorganize these guys in the position that they are.
Look at all the wheel movement. Again, wide open.
Wide open.
We think of Daytona and Talladega wide open being easy in qualifying. It's not easy here. These guys are having to work.
Can he hold it wide open through 3 and 4? We're about to find out.
199. Oh, a lot of wheel input to the right. I mean, he was loose getting in the corner.
Maybe dragging the brake a little bit there.
Heard him say he got too loose.
37.189 is the number that everyone will shoot for now.
You saw him turn the wheel back to the right. If you don't turn the wheel back to the right, the car is going to wreck. It will spin out. So that quick movement to the right is catching the back of the car so that the car doesn't spin out. And that's what we talked about when he said I was too loose. It was all on corner entry.
He was about 1/100 of a second slower on that lap than what he was in the first round. That was Clint Bowyer. Now Dale Earnhardt Jr. on his lap.
He looks a lot more secure.
Yes.
I mean, way less wheel movement. He looks like he moves that right hand over, tugs down on the wheel. Looks like he can do it with some confidence in 1 and 2. See at 3 and 4, a little bit more wheel movement. 3 and 4 seems to be maybe a freer corner.
Quite a bit faster than Clint Bowyer. Let's see how this lap turns out. 36.945 for Earnhardt Jr.
It's a big improvement from the first round, of 37.15 in the first round. So he picked up almost 0.2 of a second.
Picked up, I appreciate that. 10-4, appreciate the car.
Greg Ives, I appreciate that. They're being very polite to each other.
See the cloud cover has come over the racetrack again. Kasey Kahne, that's what he wanted to see. Any advantage you can get, you want to take advantage of it.
You see in the red for Kasey Kahne going up against his teammate, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah, and these guys are going out from slowest to fastest of the 12 that moved on. So Earnhardt Jr., any car he beats from here on out is a net gain. He was 11th quick after the first round of qualifying. So in the old qualifying years ago, he would start 11th. But here with 2 rounds of qualifying, he has a chance to go out and do it again. It looks like he's going to beat Kasey Kahne and Clint Bowyer.
So Kasey Kahne slots in second quickest. Clint Bowyer third. Dale Earnhardt Jr. still up top.
You know what I find tough about this qualifying is you have to remember this is the top 12. All these guys are going to have good starting spots.
That's right.
But because they have a chance to go back and sit on the pole, do it for a second time, when you're 10th, you feel horrible about it. You feel like you were next to, third from last, when in fact you're still qualified 10th. So this last round, I think, elevates the pressure.
See Jimmy Johnson barely tracking in the green against his teammate Dale Earnhardt Jr. It's going to be all about momentum, though. How much speed does he carry off turn 2 down the backstretch? I mean, it's almost the same speed. The timer's barely moving.
He's in the green. 200 miles an hour when he enters turn 3. And the sun gets him in turn 4. Still tracking in the green. That's all I've got, boys. And it's fast enough to move in front of his teammate, 36.88.
First out of the 4 that have gone. That's a 36.88. Currently P1. Good job, Jimmy. Thank you. Thanks, guys, for all the hard work today.
And a very calm Chad Knaus.
Well, you almost hear it in their voices that they're not excited about it because I think they know it's not enough. I think they know that the way, like you mentioned, Jeff, as this qualifying goes on, as we ride along here with Joey Logano, they know that faster cars are coming.
All of the Joe Gibbs racing cars ran faster than what Jimmy Johnson just turned his lap. .200 miles an hour entering turn 3. Again, we see that number. Sounded like he had to potentially get out of the gas there a little bit getting into 4.
Yeah, he did. It sounded like you saw the wheel input back to the right. You heard the throttle. He had to come out of the throttle a little bit. I suspect he got a little too free.
Joe Logano, third quickest of the 5 that have been on the track.
So far, I know what happened there.
He sounded like he's out of breath.
Yeah.
He probably was holding it for roughly 37 seconds.
Now it's Austin Dillon's turn on the clock. Already tracking in the green as he goes into turn 1.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great job of coming to the green. He got a great run off 3 and 4, carried that momentum into 1 and 2, and didn't hurt himself there. He's tracking a 10th ahead of Jimmy Johnson in the middle of the backstretch.
Austin Dillon's first round qualifying effort, 36.995. He's well ahead of that.
Really nice and smooth to get into turn 3. He was able to stay out a long time before he turned. It's going to be a good lap.
And what did he say? He had a security lift the last time. I didn't see a lift this time. 36.75. He goes to P1.
He's the first driver to go over 202 miles an hour on the backstretch. We saw him hit 202 as he was entering turn 3. Now Kevin Harvick was on the clock.
His hand out the window.
Jeff, we saw that years ago with some Xfinity cars with these big spoilers. They actually put their hand out the window to try to break the drag.
See if he does it again. There you go. See his hand out the window down the back straightaway.
Yeah.
Get that thing back on there when it gets in the corner.
That just proves that these drivers are willing to try anything for an advantage. If it means stick my hand out the window down the backstretch, I'll do it.
Didn't find him enough speed to upset Austin Dillon off the top spot, but he goes second quick.
I want to know what your hand out the window feels like at 195 miles an hour.
200 miles an hour.
Yeah, I mean, it gets my attention on the interstate. I'm thinking I'd be a little concerned stuffing my hand out the window at 200. Not to mention taking it off the steering wheel.
So Kevin Harvick, of the 7 that have been on the track,
it is amazing what drivers consider to be normal, isn't it?
It is amazing.
I mean, yeah, I'm going to go 200 this afternoon.
Had some lunch. I think he'll go 200 miles an hour. Tony Stewart, now on the clock, has been impressive over the past couple weeks, especially in qualifying. Looking for results in the race. Right now tracking in the red. Not as quick as what Dillon has posted. See if he can gain any ground through 3 and 4.
That's amazing. The low speed's 192. I mean, that's only 8 mile an hour from top speed to low speed. That's just unbelievable. They're carrying that much speed through the middle of the corner. Good run for Stewart in second.
He did pick up some speed coming out of 4, so he goes second quickest.
And the only reason they slow down the corner is not because they're getting out of the throttle. It's just because as you go down into the corner, the load on the car goes up. You have to turn the wheel. That adds some mechanical drag. The front tires are now turned. It's just physics slowing the cars down. They're still wide open in the throttle.
As I mentioned before, only 3 times in the history of NASCAR has one team ever started 1, 2, 3, 4. Here come the 4 Joe Gibbs Racing teams.
It has to start with Denny Hamlin. He has to be faster than Austin Dillon. He's about a 0.5 of a second up on the backstretch. But we've seen some people have a little bit of issue in 3 and 4. We've seen some cars wiggle down here.
Looking impressive, gaining through 3 and 4. Denny Hamlin moving further into the green. And Hamlin is the first one to lock himself into the top 4.
He won 55 right there. Good job, man. Don't talk. Don't talk.
Don't talk. Don't talk. Don't give anything away.
Even to your teammates. Remember, it's only his teammates left to go, but we don't even want to give that. We're competing right now. We'll be teammates in a minute when this is over.
That's 0.2 of a second faster than what Matt Kenseth ran in the first round. And we thought that was an impressive lap.
Kyle Busch didn't get to turn 1 as well as Hamlin did. Wasn't able to carry the speed off turn 4 before he got the start.
I'm really interested in 3 and 4, though. I thought Denny Hamlin had a pretty good lap going down the backstretch, but he seemed to fly through 3 and 4 relative to Austin Dillon. I want to see if Kyle Busch can get through this end of the racetrack as good as Hamlin.
Also 202 down the backstretch was Kyle Busch. Can he gain ground through 3 and 4? Losing a little bit.
Every bit of the racetrack. Obviously, he had to get out of the throttle.
And it will not be a 1 through 4 for Joe Gibbs Racing starting because Kyle Busch is 4th.
Way to go, Rick. Way to go, Rick. You've jinxed them.
I didn't do anything.
I think it's you. I think you jinxed them.
Wait a minute. Is this similar to when we go to a car?
Yeah,
and
you
then
were
it
blaming
pulls
me
off
earlier.
the
I'm
track?
blaming you now. I'm blaming you now.
Carl Edwards, who was very quick in first practice today, was confident that if he did everything right, he could win the pole for Sunday's race.
Slow speed was only 194 miles an hour. That was his slow speed through turns 1 and 2. 201. Didn't quite get a 202.
He looks to run almost a little lower, Jeff, like he's trying to shorten the racetrack. It'll be interesting to see if that bogs the car down and actually hurts his time.
In the red, Denny Hamlin's looking very secure with only one car to go. Carl Edwards goes second quick.
Good job, bud.
Just love it when they're P2.
P2. I call that the Eeyore. You know, how's it?
P2.
It looks cloudy. We're in P2. It's just that disappointment because expectations are high. That's good. That's what you want from a race team is expectations. And right here we're going to see teammate against teammate. Does Matt Kenseth have enough to beat Denny Hamlin?
He was fastest in the first round. Tracking in the green now. Can he upset his teammate and go to the top of the chart and win the pole for the race on Sunday?
199, 200, 201, 202.
203 for Matt Kenseth down the backstretch. He's still in the green through 3 and 4.
He's high, though, up to the gray.
Looking very solid as he comes back to the start-finish line. Matt Kenseth wins the pole at Michigan.
Nice job, man. Nice job. It's you by almost a 10. Great job today. Good job, guys. I was bound and determined there, and I was pretty greedy and started losing it off the forward, fogging it down. Great job, guys. Thanks. That was a heck of a turnaround today.
How about that? That, by the way, is the first time Joe Gibbs Racing will start a race 1, 2, 3.
They had a chance at a 1, 2, 3, 4 until Rick jinxed them.
Well, okay.
Well, that and Kyle Busch got a little tight off turn 4. Maybe that had something to do with it.
He may have had something to do with it. Marty?
Oh, Denny Hamlin was hoping. It's tough when you get beat, but when you get beat by your teammate by that little, it's a little frustrating, isn't it?
Not really. I mean, what a great day for Joe Gibbs Racing. I mean, this is a testament to the hard work that they put in. TRD coming a long way in the last year, doing a great job with our engines, and it just becomes an arms race, you know, making sure you got a fast car and a big engine, and these guys are really doing a great job of giving us fast cars. So Matt was probably too old to remember to lift there, so he got us. But congratulations to him.
Is there something you can put your finger on as to why everything lately for JGR seems to be working, Denny?
You know what? Not really. I mean, we just have been working towards getting better, and we just haven't been at the top of our game for the last year and a half, and we just continue to work inside the shop, and the drivers are getting smarter and better. So when you have drivers that you can feed off of, like the 3 teammates that I have, it makes a difference, and so that's where you're seeing the results.
David Wilson from TRD walking by. Denny Hamlin will start second on Sunday, Kelly.
Austin Dillon broke up that Joe Gibbs Racing party. He'll start 4th in the race. You told me before that last run you couldn't lift. You get it done?
I did through 1 and 2. With 3 and 4, I had to just give up a little bit. We got a little tight off of 4, but, man, I'm just proud of these Dow guys. The Gibbs cars have been really good this year, and to break up one of them, at least out of the top 4, was nice, and be the top qualifying Chevy. So just want to thank all the guys. We're working really hard, ECR for the power, and we'll go get them on Sunday.
Yeah, how do you put it together and make this pay off in the come race day?
I think we just, do our best to stay up with the strategy. These races are a lot of fuel mileage, different things play out. So we'll work really hard tomorrow on some fuel strategy, and then also just running behind cars, making sure our car handles in traffic.
Still a lot of work left to be done, Marty.
And Matt Kenseth on the pole today, and boy, this Joe Gibbs Racing team, even though you said you're a little greedy down there in 3 and 4, just so impressive with a 1, 2, 3. Did you see this coming at the beginning of the day?
Maybe the 1, 2, 3, but I didn't think I'd be in the 3. So this is all about Jason and Levi, Mikey, everybody that works in this Dollar General Camry, and really everybody at Huntersville that builds these things, and TRD. So we were a long ways off Carl in practice, and I don't even know what changes they made, but they changed a lot of stuff that really woke this thing up and had some speed. So yeah, I knew I got through 1 and 2 good, but Denny put up such a fast lap. I got into 3, and I was bound to determine I was going to make it wide open. And I had the first half of the corner. It was the second half that was starting to get exciting, and got sliding up the track and bogged down a little bit. So I wasn't sure that we were going to have it, but like I said, I got to say thanks to those guys. They gave me a car with a lot of speed.
Benny was joking that you're probably too old to remember to lift in 3 and 4, right? And it's good chemistry on the team.
Well, I can say it's because I didn't get enough sleep. I flew up with Denny today, and he likes to come everything at the last minute. So I didn't sleep last night, thinking that we weren't going to make it up here. So it's really just from lack of sleep. So I get to credit Denny for the pole.
There you go. He credits his teammate Denny Hamlin. An impressive run for JGR. 1, 2, 3. Rick.
Yeah, both taking jabs at the other. In the end, it was Matt Kenseth who is ruling Michigan with a dominating performance in round 2 of qualifying. Formula One is on NBCSN next Sunday, August 23rd from Belgium. The circuit's longest track is certainly going to challenge the field. Catch the Formula One Belgian Grand Prix. That's next Sunday, August 23rd, NBCSN. That circuit just over 4.3 miles there. Take a look at our starting grid. Row 1, all Joe Gibbs Racing. Matt Kenseth, Denny Hamlin. What a roll Matt Kenseth is on.
Tony Stewart with another great run inside the top 5. That's a few weeks in a row now. He's shown speed in qualifying.
And Austin Dillon continue to show their improvement. Look at row 4. Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Johnson, strong row.
Back in row 5, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Joey Logano after sweeping Watkins Glen. He'll start in the top 10.
Clint Boyer ends up outside row 6 with his teammate just behind him, David Reagan. Their sharing of information definitely worked. Both of those cars qualified good. How about Sam Hornish Jr. inside row 8? That's a great run. Top 15 for the Richard Petty Motorsports.
So row 9, Ryan Newman and Jamie McMurray, both guys trying to get in the chase. Got to have good races. Jeff Gordon said he had a great lap, but ended up in row 11th, right next to Martin Truex.
Danica Patrick, Paul Menard making up row 12. Roush Fenway will start nose to tail in 13 and 14 with Trevor Bayne, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. still trying to find that speed and success in 2015.
In row 15, Eric Amarola, you know, with this new package, not having a lot of time in practice today in the car because he was sick, that had to hurt him. See right next to him, Jeff Burton with a good qualifying run.
We get back here to row 17. Kyle Larson, they gambled on the rain the first time here in Michigan. It didn't work out. This is a team looking for a win, and they can't feel great about starting 34th and trying to get that win.
J.J. Yaley is going to try to do the double Mid-Ohio for the Xfinity race as well as the Cup race on Sunday.
See Casey Mears all the way back in 20th. Remember, he tried to run wide open through the corner, wasn't able to do it. Had to make a big lift off the corner to keep from hitting the wall, and the consequence was row 20.
Let's go back to pit road and Marty Snyder.
Rick, I've tracked down a very happy David Wilson. He's the man who runs things for TRD. Of course, all the Toyota cars up front with the Joe Gibbs Racing cars. Could you have imagined a better day than this, David?
No, it's just about perfect, Marty. To do this here in Michigan is extra special. I don't remember qualifying knowing that we were going to be on the pole with still 3 cars to go. I mean, testament to incredible amount of hard work by our engine group, by our folks at Joe Gibbs Racing and Michael Waltrip Racing. Just very, very proud.
As a guy who's dialed in with your teams, which you obviously talk to them every day, are they peaking right now at the right time the way you want them to peak heading into the chase?
Yeah, I mean, the performance is strong. And the way I look at it is we know we've got good equipment. We know our drivers aren't going to forget how to drive between now and the chase. So it's just really about keeping our heads down, not getting too full of ourselves, not ever thinking we're ever better than anybody else, and just keep pressing and pressing and pressing.
As a manufacturer, how do you approach the chase, and what help can you provide your race teams once they're in the chase?
Well, you know, our biggest job is to get them to the chase. And now with this new format, of course, it throws a complete curve at it, and it's there's a little bit of luck involved. Main thing is minimize mistakes and continue to execute just like we're executing today. And if we do that in the chase, then we'll be just fine.
And speaking of the chase, we've talked a lot about that. There's a 6:30 meeting here in a few moments, which you have to run to, where basically NASCAR is going to announce the rules for the chase. What do you expect out of that meeting?
Well, I don't think there'll be any big surprises, Marty. The neat thing is that NASCAR's pulling all their stakeholders together, drivers, crew chiefs, OEMs, and we're all going to find out at the same time. So that's a good thing.
How quickly will your guys then go to work now that they know we'll know the Chase rules package in a few minutes?
Well, we're already at work,
sure,
Marty.
Yeah.
So I don't think it'll throw a major curve at what we're doing right now.
All right, David Wilson going to head into the meeting. Obviously, a lot of things to be happy about on the TRD side, guys, and that big meeting starting, as we mentioned, in just a few minutes at 6:30 Eastern for all the teams, drivers, OEMs, everybody. They'll all be in that one meeting.
As a matter of fact, Mike Massaro, before Carl Edwards went to that meeting, was able to grab an interview. Let's go to Mike.
Carl Edwards all but called his shot going into qualifying, predicting that he should win the pole. Unfortunately, came up just a little bit short. Third, what happened?
I got a little ahead of myself. I saw how fast Denny went. If I'd have known how fast Matt was going to go, I'd have really screwed it up. But I tried something a little bit different. It didn't work, but it's an awesome day for JGR, awesome day for Toyota, TRD, for Aris. We're fast. I'm excited for the race and get a good starting spot. Like I said before we started, being upset about third is nice. That's how fast we've been lately.
A lot of unknowns, though, with this new package. What did we learn today?
We learned how to go fast by ourselves, but I have no clue what's going to happen in a group of cars. They disrupt so much air with this package that when you get behind people, it just changes the handling. It's really tough. So I don't know how we're going to set this thing up to race. I really have no clue what to expect.
That said, how critical is practice on Saturday?
Practice on Saturday will be really critical, and I think it'll be most beneficial if we can run in a group. I mean, if we don't run around other cars, I mean, it's just going to be anyone's guess how it goes on Sunday.
And for information on that meeting where all the drivers, and we saw David Wilson heading to the meeting that NASCAR is bringing together, all the teams, letting them know what the rules packages will be for the Chase. We will have that information in NASCAR America coming up next, because Steve O'Donnell is going to speak at the media center, and we will carry that for you so that you will be able to see what took place in the meeting and get all of the information from that meeting as to what's going to take place in the Chase. More from Michigan when we come back. Welcome back to Michigan. Coming up next, it's NASCAR America. Chris DeVoe, Kyle Petty, and Brian Vickers on set. We also will have Steve O'Donnell speaking at the media center, as well as Rutledge Wood going on vacation. Well, maybe not vacation, but a little bit of field trip to the Ford Museum. Now, we just saw qualifying get done. We saw some incredible speeds, which I think surprised some people because you have a high drag package, but we still saw speeds over 203 miles an hour.
Yeah, we did. What was amazing, we saw the low speed in the corner, like 195. So when you think about, where is the speed being generated, it's being generated from the corner. They're able to go so fast in the corner, they carry that momentum onto the straightaway. We don't see the build in speed like we normally would because the drag holds the car back, but they're so fast through the corner, we're seeing these high speeds.
By themselves. We saw that by themselves, and I think that's the storyline. We saw some great qualifying speeds. We see Joe Gibbs Racing doing a wonderful job, being very efficient. TRD, that's fine by yourself, but here in a couple of days, they're going to have to line up with 42 other cars, barrel off down into turn one with traffic all around them. Even though Michigan is a wide racetrack and there's going to be options, there's only so many options, and 43 cars are going to have to fit somewhere. And how are these things going to drive in row 5 and row 10?
And remember, we saw this package in Indy, but Indy is a one-groove racetrack. There's nowhere to go. So the thought is here, if you catch a guy in the corner, instead of having to follow him, you go above him or you go below him so you don't get hurt by the lack of downforce on the car, but you only get benefit by the draft on the straightaway. If that works, we could be in for a pretty wild race on Sunday.
I like how drivers always talk with their hands and showing how this happens and that happens. Okay, so Joe Gibbs Racing line up here, here, and here.
You should see me at home. I'm not taking that trash out. That's how it works at home.
How strong is Joe Gibbs Racing? We see them once again. This is their first time that they'll ever start 1, 2, and 3, but they have been strong week in and week out.
And the key to that are the weeks you're discussing are very different. We're at 2 Mile, Michigan with a high drag package. They're successful. Last week at Watkins Glen, they found success. In fuel mileage races, they've found success. They have found a way to get to victory lane in multiple different ways, and I think that's something to be said, because it's one thing when you have an advantage in a certain style racetrack, you have a lot of confidence. But when you look at the Chase, which is looming just 4 weeks out, we go to 1.5 miles, we go to 1 miles, we go to high bank Dovers, we go to flat Phoenixes. It's a very wide variety of racetracks, and they've proven, Jeff, that they can be consistent and fast at all types of tracks.
And we've talked a lot about Kyle Busch within the Joe Gibbs Racing organization, but let's step back for just a minute and think about Matt Kenseth.
Yeah.
He wins Pocono. He goes to Watkins Glen and finishes 4th.
Right.
By his own declaration, he is not a great road
That's
course
right.
driver, okay? And then he comes here and sits on the pole. So perhaps we've talked about Kyle Busch being the hottest driver, but maybe Matt Kenseth is going to be pushing him pretty quick.
A lot of things have happened here in Michigan. To sum it all up, we go to NASCAR America and Krista, Kyle, and Brian.